A long time ago, a poor farmer died, leaving his wife and son Peter with only £200. When their food ran low, the mother gave Peter half the money to buy supplies. On his way to town, Peter saw a butcher beating an old dog. Moved by compassion, he paid £100 to save the animal. Naming him Leo, when Peter returned home empty-handed, his mother was furious. The next day, she sent him back with their last £100, warning him not to waste it. But Peter encountered a boy dragging a cat by a rope, planning to drown her for stealing a cookie. Unable to bear the cruelty, Peter bought the cat for all their remaining money and named her Piker. His mother threw him out in anger, so Peter wandered with his two friends until he met a priest who offered him work. For 3 years, Peter labored faithfully. When payment came, the priest offered him a choice: gold, silver, or sand. Sensing a deeper meaning, Peter chose the sand, though it seemed worthless. Carrying the heavy bag, Peter traveled until he reached a dark forest. There he found a beautiful young woman tied to a tree, surrounded by flames. Without hesitation, he poured his sand on the fire and saved her life. The grateful woman revealed she was a princess from the elf kingdom. As thanks, she gave Peter a magic ring that could grant any wish. She warned him never to reveal its secret, or it would bring great sorrow. Then she transformed into a snake and disappeared. Peter returned home and reconciled with his mother. Using the ring's power, he summoned 10 servants who brought them everything they needed. Life became comfortable, and Peter began thinking of marriage. He asked his mother to visit the king and request permission to marry the princess. The king laughed at the request, but when Peter sent magnificent gifts through the magic ring, the king grew worried. The king's advisor suggested an impossible test. Peter must build a splendid palace, a silver bridge lined with trees bearing golden fruit, and a grand church, all by morning. If he failed, both mother and son would die. Peter used the ring, and by dawn, everything stood complete. The astonished king had no choice but to agree to the marriage. Though the wedding was celebrated with great joy, the princess was secretly unhappy. Proud and vain, she resented marrying a farmer's son. She plotted to discover her husband's secret, asking sweet questions that Peter wisely ignored. Finally, she got him drunk one evening and he revealed everything about the magic ring. While he slept, she stole the ring and used it to transport herself, the palace, the bridge, and the church to a distant kingdom, abandoning Peter completely. When the king discovered his daughter had vanished, he blamed Peter. Furious and confused, the king imprisoned Peter in a high stone tower with only a tiny window, leaving him to die of hunger and thirst. Leo and Piker were heartbroken. They began stealing food from villagers and bringing it to Peter through the window, keeping him alive for a full year. Realizing this couldn't continue, Leo and Piker set out on a dangerous journey to find the ring. They crossed mountains, rivers, and even an ocean, with Piker clinging to Leo's back. After many months, they reached the far kingdom and found the palace. They discovered the princess wore the ring constantly, even while sleeping. The clever animals traveled to the kingdom of mice and frightened them into helping. A brave mouse soldier crept into the princess's bedroom at midnight and carefully slipped the ring from her finger. With the ring secured, Leo and Piker began their long journey home. Piker carried it in her mouth while riding on Leo's back across the ocean once more. When they reached the tower, Piker climbed the stone walls and dropped the ring through the tiny window. Peter, weak from hunger, was overjoyed. He immediately summoned the 10 servants, who brought food and wine. He called for musicians to play such beautiful music that everyone who heard it could only stop and listen in wonder. The king heard the music and grew angry that Peter was celebrating instead of dying. He sent guards and soldiers to stop it, but they all stood enchanted by the melodies. Finally, the king himself went to the tower. Unable to resist the music's power, he surrendered and promised Peter forgiveness if he explained everything. Peter told the king the whole story of the ring and how the princess had betrayed him. The king was devastated by his daughter's cruelty, but begged Peter not to have her executed. Peter's kind heart wouldn't allow him to seek revenge, so he agreed to take her back. That night, while everyone slept, Peter used the ring to restore the palace, the bridge, and the church to their rightful place. When morning came, the king awoke to find everything returned. Peter and the princess lived together again, and gradually she came to understand the goodness of the man she had married. Her pride melted away, replaced by genuine love and respect. They lived happily together for the rest of their days, with Peter keeping the magic ring always on his finger, and his faithful friends Leo and Piker forever by his side. A constant reminder that loyalty and kindness are the greatest treasures of all.